I took up running at university. I started to get a little bit overweight, and it was probably a mixture of the lack of exercise and a diet of chocolate digestives for breakfast and chicken dippers for lunch and the evening meal. And so my housemate started to take me out running because I'd started to find I was out of breath just even getting to university or to my girlfriend's house. It was only a couple of K, but I ended up feeling quite cold and sweaty and wet. It wasn't an enjoyable experience, but I was in a pursuit of happiness. I thought to be happy, I needed to be fit. And maybe that's like you. Maybe you've recently started going to the gym or running because that's what it looks like to be happy. Or maybe it's something else. Maybe you've started to focus really hard in university so that you have a good career. Or maybe you spend quite a lot of time texting, working on that relationship that will make you happy. But ultimately, are we actually happy? I ended up trying to set myself this goal of running a marathon in 3 hours, 50 minutes. Why 3 hours, 50 minutes? Well, that was what my dad had set. And for me to be happy, for me to achieve everything I wanted to in running, I had to be better than him. And so I did the Belfast Marathon and ran it in 3 hours, 45. And that joy lasted for about 20 minutes. And then suddenly that sinking feeling of, what do I do now? Do I book on to something else? I'd achieved my goal, but I wasn't actually happy. The famous author and actor Jim Carrey says he wishes that everyone could get rich and famous and have everything they ever dreamed of, and realised it's not the answer. He'd spent his whole career trying to be famous, and when he got there, it didn't fulfil him. His goal didn't mean that he was happy. And actually, the famous philosopher Bertrand Russell suggests that actually an indispensable part of happiness is not having everything that you want. We've become so obsessed with trying to have things that will make us happy when actually it doesn't seem to be the case. Happiness cannot be a goal. If we're only ever pursuing happiness, are we ever truly happy? What if happiness is about contentment? A contentment in the now. The author, Brené Brown, who wrote Daring Greatly, actually suggests that to be happy is to be content. And that can only come through knowing that you're unconditionally loved. Not dependent on the ever-changing world around you, not dependent on how many social media followers or likes you have, not dependent on how successful your career is, and not dependent on how other people view you. And actually, this is the message at the very centre of the Christian faith. The very centre of the Christian faith is a man called Jesus, who walked this earth 2,000 years ago, and he claims that by putting your trust in him, and not in the things of this world, be that power, sex, or money, you can have eternal contentment and happiness in him. There's this incredible story where he meets this woman at a well. It's the middle of the day, it's the hottest time of the day, and she's come to the well. She's clearly trying to avoid other people and seems to be some sort of outcast of society, and he meets her and starts talking to her. He starts to question where she finds happiness and what she's searching for, and it ends up she seems to be searching for happiness in men. Now, my wife could tell you, you're not going to find happiness in men, and I'm sure many of the rest of you could as well. But Jesus actually says, stop looking for these other things and look to me. If you find happiness, if you look for contentment in me, you will be eternally happy. Jesus suggests that as you put your trust in him, you're being invited back into the relationship in which you have purpose. The meaning of your creation was to be in relationship with him, not seeking to find it in all of these other things in this world, but actually as you put your trust in him, you're free to enjoy the world around you for what it is, free to enjoy your career, to enjoy social media, to enjoy running, but without the pressure of it meaning everything. As Christians, we believe that true contentment and true eternal happiness can be found in Jesus. And so if you aren't a Christian today, why have you never sought to ask those questions of Jesus? If this is what he claims, What have you to lose by investigating what he says about this? And that's my challenge to you today. Why don't you investigate for yourself who Jesus is and these claims that he makes on contentment and happiness?